Well, that's what we're looking at this morning. We're still very much with the Anambra elections. Joining us to look at it this morning is Bola Bakari. He's the Vice Chair, Truth Be Told Network. Well, good to have you join us this morning.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we all look forward to this particular election in Anambra State for a whole lot of people. They say it was supposed to be another test case for INEC leading up to the general elections come 2015. What do you make of this particular election?
Thank you, my brother Sulaiman. From my own perspective and from the perspective of my network, Truth Be Told Network, we believe that the protocols of electioneering failed in this instance. And what do I call the protocols? It entails all the parameters, all the procedures of electioneering. Let's start from top to bottom. The electioneering process starts from INEC headquarters in Abuja, trickles down to the state INEC, trickles down when it comes to voting to LGs and polling units. Let's now break the activities and the responsibilities of all these bodies. The headquarters is supposed to come up with a concise package for elections. By that, I mean we have the voters register, we have materials, we have administration, we have logistics. Fine. The chairman, Atari Jaga, is trying to do a good job. But unfortunately, there are too many lapses, and over time, we've had test cases where it's been able to now operate in one state alone, 1 in 36. The first time around, we said, well, it will get better. The second time around, honestly, it didn't get better. The third time around, there is no improvement. So basically, I am looking at a near failure here. It's not total, though, but it's a near failure. And as such, we should look at what it is that has to be done and what it is that is not being done.
Are you saying you didn't see any kind of effort especially from the electoral umpire? Because right before the elections, we saw a whole lot of changes. A novelty is introduced into this particular election. For the first time, INEC had a dedicated line where you can call, text some information, and you got a reply that tells you that your name is right there in the voter register. But with all of that, the story from the electorate is quite different.
I'll tell you one thing. INEC has a line that you can call. I honestly want to ask you, do you know? I don't. It wasn't made public enough. You see, when it's time to eulogize your boss because it is birthday, you put it in the newspapers. When it's time to do this, you put it in the newspapers. When something this important crops up, nobody gets to see it. You talk about it in your office, you tell a few people, and it ends there. Honestly, most people could not relate to it. What they can relate to is the basic thing that they have. They registered to get voted. INEC did its own job, came up with copies of this. And then if we transfer that down the line from INEC headquarters to the state level, fine. They brought in voters register on display. This is your register on display. Fine. You can go there, verify. That is one step. The next step is on the day proper, where you go, look at your name on display, come to the electoral officer, and then verify with the copy he has on hand. In Anambra State, there were instances, you go to the display, you see your name, you come to the electoral officer, your name is not there.
Does that mean there were multiple lists?
Yeah. It was on air. People said it on air that I have checked that my name is there and I am here now, my name is not here.
But with this statement, are you implying that INEC planned to ruin this election?
It might be a technical itch. It might be an oversight. it might be a case of pure incompetence. Look at all the parameters and you be the judge. Even a state governor who was a player could not find his name. And that is, I don't know.
Did you say a state governor?
No, a player.
Yeah. That's
An aspiring state governor who was a player could not find his name. How bad can it be? Where is his name? Where is the name of his family? He is a player, and as such, he has a constituency. If he doesn't know anything, if he doesn't know anybody.
So he must have registered.
Yes. The party will not throw him out, will not bring him out if he's not registered, if he doesn't have a voter's card. Even part of the parameters of filling out a form that you want to be an aspirant entails all those parameters.
What else did your network find out? Truth be told.
What we did, there are some good aspects. In terms of security, it was good. But we fought that too. Does it have to take 10% of our police force to effect that security in one state? Abuja brought in 28,000. The state asked close to about 10,000. So we're talking about 40,000 in a police force of less than 500,000. Do we need 40,000 people, 10% of our workforce, of our police force, to effect that?
So, well, you noticed that was good, but that became a fault as well.
It became a fault as well.
Yeah, so what else did you notice that was good?
Basically, the intent was
intent
good.
Was
intent,
good.
Yeah, the intent of INEC. We're going to do this because a day prior, they were being sure there are generators were set, these are vehicles, these are...
You actually saw that?
Yes, these are vehicles, these are human beings, these are officials. By tomorrow, we're good to go. When tomorrow came, there were glitches. Even one of the officers erred. These are part of factors we are looking at that. The House failed in its protocols.
You know, we have a mail here from one of our viewers, and his name, I don't know if it's a him or her, but the person's name is Val. Now, he says that, because there was this talk of disenfranchisement, he says, while it can be acknowledged that a lot of people could not vote because names were not on the list, he says we should understand that there were names, or that their names weren't on the list for obvious reasons, ranging from double registration to non-capture of their biometric data as required by law. A lot of voters' names were on addendum lists, which the INEC chairman adduced to be the source of election rigging in the past. Now, he says that you're only disenfranchised when your name is not or is on the list and you're not allowed to vote, or that there are no ballot papers for you to thumbprint. So he's very, he takes exception to the fact that most of people are saying we were disenfranchised when their names are not, because their names are not on the list. We spoke with the INEC, was it the media guy exactly to Mr. Jega, Professor Jega, and he said that that was the case, that INEC did some re-registration or was capturing biometric data, and that a lot of people, the response to that was poor. Where do we really start in this? Do we lay the blame again at the doorstep of INEC, or do we also talk to the electorate who possibly did not think that the process was important?
Absolutely, it's on the part of INEC. Because I will cite you an instance I cited earlier. How on earth did Inwoye's name get out of the register? Did he double register? No.
How do you know that for sure?
For God's sake, the party will run a good check on him. Because they would not want a situation where it becomes faulty and then people can point a finger, not just to him, the party as a whole. So that did not happen. What happened to Nwoye? That is a critical case of inadequacy. So looking at the elections proper, if we move on from there, I now boil down to a situation where INEC again, the staffers of INEC are unknown as far as Jega is concerned. If he inherited them, he should have done a good check. If he employed them, he should have done a good check. How come a man? Because I will expect him to have read the Rights Act to his people in-house, outside of what is in the Constitution. INEC as an autonomous body should have its own in-house constitution. It should have said, like Dostoevsky, there's a case of crime and punishment. If you do this, this is what is going to happen to
Well,
you.
the one person who INEC has fingered, we understand, has been taken by the police to Abuja for further questioning. Hopefully, prosecution should follow anytime soon.
My dear, let me ask you something straight. What is going to be your basis of his prosecution? That he was late? He hasn't done anything yet. He was just late. What happens if he has a case of diarrhea or cholera?
The accusation is that he absconded.
He can say anything. He hasn't done anything with the materials yet. All that happened, all that transpired is the populace timing of maybe accreditation. It was nowhere to be found. He erred in his duties. But the thing is, what is the basis of his prosecution?
Negligence of duty, perhaps, because even if you're
There's an administrative factor.
one would
you query
think
him, and then at the end of the day, maybe you want to fire him. What else?
that cannot be termed an offense.
The thing, what I'm saying here is, it has to do with the staffers of INEC. They are not a cogent lot. And the man at the helm of affairs has not read them his own Riots Act.
If I may come in here,
Go
it's
ahead.
talking about the staffers. Now, they've had previous elections, and they've been commended for the previous elections. Most recently, Edo elections, there were elections, and Edo State, for instance, they were commended for the elections in Edo State. Now, you're saying that they are not a cogent lot because they failed, one of them failed here.
The same thing happened in Edo State. They had a logistic problem in the vicinity that is less than 20 kilometers from INEC headquarters in Edo State. Logistic problem, which translates to transportation of getting from point A to point B.